This is my new business and finance channel, and wanted to do a Q&A session for you guys if anyone have any questions. But if you are joining me on this channel is going to be dedicated for business and finance, because what I'm finding out, especially in the credit realm, a lot of people problems with their credit is really their finances. So if you have trouble credit, if you have bad credit, those two categories, it's not because people just set out and say, hey, I don't want to have good credit, I'm just going to mess my credit up. Usually one or two things happen. Either one, because credit is an algorithm, they don't know how to conduct their behavior. Hey, thank you, Brandon, for joining me. Thank you so much. You've been actually following me for years, so I really appreciate you joining me. And everybody that come in, let me know where you're coming from. He's in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. So let me know when you guys are coming from. And when you come in, do me a favor, give a thumbs up, and it'll help the algorithm. But the other end of what people are really having problems with their credit is income. Thank you, Devell. Thank you, Mr. Edwards, for joining me too. And you're out of Orlando, Florida. But the other part of that key of that door, if you're trying to open for opportunity, is really income. So I want to help people this year work on the income part, because I promise you, the more income that you're making, the less dependent you will become on credit. Okay, so I want to answer you guys' questions, and I just want to give you an overview. Thank you, Breezy, for joining me from California, and everybody that's coming in. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys coming in. And one thing I've been covering, thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Mr. Smith from Jersey. I'm from Jersey originally, so thank y'all for coming in. But it's the field inspection industry. So if you guys don't know about field inspections, I made 3 videos, and I'm going to continue to do a series, because this is an industry where you can actually work with mortgage companies and insurance companies. And in this industry, I began to work in that industry, and I was able to make over $100,000 a year doing the field inspections, and also property preservation came into play. So there's going to be videos I want to bring you guys on options on how you can do that. A lot of people ask questions, can I do that in my state? Understand, every single state in the United States have to have these types of inspections. You can do this wherever you are, in whatever state. And the reason why you can do this is because the mortgage industry now, from that fallout in 2006, 2008, in those years, and even further back, there were a lot of foreclosed homes and a lot of homes that got back on their mortgage. So they have a need, the banks, for the mortgage industry, to have people to go out to see if these homes that are in default, homeowners that are behind on their mortgage, they need inspectors to go out and possibly make contact. But making contact is leaving a door hanger and just taking 5 simple photos of the home. Those types of inspections only take you about 3 minutes. And so with those inspections, you can make like $50 an hour, because they're going to give you like 200, 300 inspections in one centralized area. You will not have to do them all in one day, but what you will do is route them, and you will be going in the same area. So for me, myself, I worked Newark at one time, and that's in New Jersey, a city. Then I had some inspections where I was out at Piscataway, Edison, and there you're going to constantly, even Perth Amboy, Roselle Park, and Linden. Actually, I had Linden and parts of Elizabeth. So you're going to have certain territories, and you can constantly do those inspections, and it will be the same home. So after a while, you're going to know where you're going. But there's another side. of that field, and it is the insurance side. You can strictly do the insurance side. And with the insurance inspections, you're working for insurance companies. And what happens is everything that's around you is insured. The businesses you're looking at, even where you're living right now, even if you're a renter, there's an insurance policy on that habitation or in that complex. And insurance companies have inspectors once that company, homeowner, business owner starts an insurance policy to insure and to make sure that if that place burned down, that it has a policy in place. The insurance company initiate a simple inspection, and they want someone to go out and take pictures to make sure that person didn't have a fire previously. And many people will not have insurance, and then something burned down and they want to run out then to get insurance. And that's just not how things work. So they need inspectors to go out and take those simple pictures. In that industry is various types of inspections. And with those, you can make like $100 an hour, even quite possibly $150 an hour, because each type of inspection has a different rate of pay. And these inspections can be very simple. So I've been going through that series. So I want you guys, if you can, if you're coming from the credit part, consider subscribing to this channel to check it out. And I'm going to bring you guys more information on not only that industry, but other ways that you can make income. And we're going to get into some passive income. And a lot of people ask me, since I'm a landlord, about real estate, which is another form of passive income. But we're going to really focus on credit and income this year, because I don't care if you get your credit up. Even with credit, you're going to need income, because if you have an 850 credit score, but you only making $20,000 a year, even for a car, it's not much you can be approved for, because both of these categories go together. And like I tell you guys, if you make a lot of income, we can get you some credit. Okay. So you have new fintech companies that is looking at your income, and they'll extend you credit depending on your income. But we definitely have to work on your income bracket. So I want to see what questions you guys have. If you have some questions, please present them to me, and so I can make sure I answer some questions, whether it's in the inspection field, insurance field, or anything in that nature. And I want to definitely answer you guys' questions, because a lot of people are looking for consultations, and I'm not really doing the consultations. I have a newborn now, so my schedule and my time, and I do have other businesses that I'm running, it can be pretty daunting to try to do all those things at one time. So if you guys have some questions, definitely let me know. And I want you guys to start to stay focused, especially with all my credit people. Make sure a lot of the information that I give you guys, it might seem redundant, but a lot of the information work. It's all about application. Thank you, Rodney, for joining me. Thank you so much for your support. And I want you to always know, if you need to improve your credit score, the first key is always to add unsecured lines of credit, especially now we're talking about if your credit score is, thank you so much, Nancy. If your credit score is under a 700 credit score, if you need to increase your credit score, and I know this is a new concept for people, you need to add unsecured lines of credit. And the reason why you need to add unsecured lines of credit, you need to understand the credit system. Always remember, credit is nothing but golden handcuffs. So credit was never made for you. A lot of people think or take this stance that the bureaus is working for you or owe you something. That the whole credit system was never designed for you. It was designed to honestly create golden handcuffs. Okay. No matter how good your credit score is, as the Bible say, the borrower is slave to the lender. So you want to remember that. I went to one of your classes, you were in North. Thank you so much, Rodney. I appreciate that. And that was some time ago that I had my seminars, and I had it around that area in Union, actually. And so if you experienced that, it said more, are most of the inspections are exterior. Okay, and I'm going to get to that question. Let me just finish. I'm going to finish this point. Always remember, if you're working on that credit, the system was not made for you. So you have to learn how to educate yourself. You got to learn how to beat the algorithm because it wasn't made for you. So I'm giving you guys a lot of tips. Understand, by adding unsecured lines of credit, the reason why that's working is because unsecured lines of credit is for the banks. They want to constantly make income off of interest. That is their primary way of making money, is lending you money and making you pay interest. So the reason why they like unsecured lines of credit, and why in the whole system, if you don't have a credit card, your credit score is not going to grow. You won't see it grow at all until you add on a credit card or unsecured lines of credit, is because that account constantly continue on and they can constantly get you for interest. Okay, so this is why. That's why when you see you guys close account, car accounts, any account that close, initially you'll see a drop in your credit score because they want that opportunity to constantly make money off of interest off of you. So you're always your first play. If your score is under a 700 credit score, even if you have negative information, negative items, is by finding unsecured lines of credit. And there's always somebody that's going to approve you. Understand, they need you. Okay, you just got to find those that will work with your credit score, because even subprime credit is very valuable to the system. They can charge you more interest and give you less lines of credit. So you want to know the credit game. And let me just answer this question. Thank you for your question, Antonio. I'm going to answer Antonio and Mr. Smith's question. It said, are most inspections of the exterior or interior of a property? Now, that's a good question. What you have is two types of industries, okay? So when you're dealing with field inspections, so the two types of industries is mortgage industry, or it's going to be the insurance industry. Now, when it comes to the mortgage industry, most of your inspections is going to be on the outside, exterior, okay? Because these homes are occupied, many of them are by homeowners, okay? So the majority of those are going to be exterior. You will not be making appointments. You're going to drive by, take photos of the home, and possibly leave a door card. Some of those you will be directly to not make contact at all, because that person could be going through the process of bankruptcy. So you wouldn't even want to be seen. And you cannot make contact with neighbors or anything like that. So those in that industry is mostly going to be outside. Each inspection will not pay as much. So most of those inspections, you might only get paid $4, $5, all the way up to like $15 per inspection, depending on the company. But you would get a large number of those, and they will be in a close proximity. So you're going to be doing with those inspections probably up to 15, with me 20 an hour, which would be very simple to do, okay? Because it would be a lot of them in the same neighborhood. And a city like Newark, it was like 5 or 10 on one street. So you would go to the next property, boom, 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 like just a lot of times in a row, or the next street over. Now, you will have some in that industry that's totally vacant. The homeowner either left or that property went through or very close to going through the foreclosure procedure. And so you might have to go interior into the inside of that property and take pictures that the banks are asking for because they want to maintain that property until they can sell it. So you're going to have way more in with those kind of inspections of outside shots than interior shots. Now with the insurance side, there are residential inspections, and those I did a video. It's going to be like just homeowners that have a home and initiated their policy or renewing their policy. A lot of single family homes and maybe even a multi-family home or two. Occasionally with those types of inspections, depending on the insurance company, because you'll be a contractor or you're working with a contractor group that will have various inspections from various insurance companies. So you might have one for State Farm, one for Allstate, one for Travelers Insurance, Liberty Insurance. They get all that type of work from all those insurance companies. Those insurance companies may have different requirements of what they want in order to complete that inspection. So sometimes, occasionally, they may want, especially with multifamilies, for you to go into that and make an appointment for that multifamily. But that kind of inspection will pay higher, and they will probably take you about 20 minutes top. And an inspection like that may pay you $50 or $60. So it wouldn't even take a full hour, and you would go in, take your pictures. You can complete that type of inspection when you get used to it. It's probably around $50, maybe from $40 to $50 on average. And it takes you about 20 minutes once you get and ask the homeowner a couple of questions. But that's for mostly multifamilies. For residential homes, they usually just want you to go to the home and take pictures on the outside. And if you possibly can, access the back. And you would notify the homeowner or knock on the door. If they're not home, you just go ahead and you would just let them know, because their insurance agent already told them someone will be coming out to take pictures. And you just let them know, I'm here for, for the renewal of your policy or the initiation of your policy. And that's it. Those type of inspections took me tops at 10 minutes. So with the insurance side, you will need to take measurements. So once you get used to it, it doesn't take long at all. You have a measuring wheel, measure the front, measure the side, and then you can figure out the square footage. So they will want to know that to give them a price on the policy, because they will actually rate the policy on the square footage of the home. Okay, so that's what you want to do there. But they also, on the insurance side, have business. So if you see a restaurant, they might want you would have to make an appointment so you can get access to that restaurant. And mostly with restaurants, their hours are longer hours. So you're pretty much you'll be able to get access to those kind of inspections all day or even towards the evening. But they want you to take pictures of the cooking equipment and make sure that certain safety things are in place, and make sure that even with that restaurant, certain requirements are being met. Fire requirements by having that cooking equipment clean, and having certain extinguishers that's in there. You need a K-rated extinguisher. And I'm going to do a video and show you some photos of some that I did in the past. So there's certain requirements that needs to be done when you're doing, or that should be in place for a place like that to be insured. And they want you to ask questions, especially on restaurants, how often they're having pest control. Because if you have a restaurant, rodents, bugs, and they are required to have at least pest control once every month. and some of them twice every month. So they would want to know that information and how many employees. So you have different types of inspection. Even in that industry, you will even have equipment inspections that you would just go there and take photos of a piece of equipment. It could be a bulldozer, and that can be inside or outside. So with the insurance inspections, it's going to be a mixed bag. It depends on what kind of property. Depends on what kind of business or what type of operation, whether they want you to have exterior majority, but majority of that regardless is going to be an exterior and interior photos. So to answer that question, on the insurance side, you're going to have a mix, but I'm going to say primarily it depends on what kind of company you're working for and what they specialize in insurance inspection. But for the mortgage side, it's always the majority of the time going to be exterior inspection. So thank you for asking me that question. Let me go to Antonio question. Said, I filled out a W-9 form from GSI and they asked to deposit 60 to do all companies. They asked for a deposit. Now, that deposit, all those companies that's asking you for a deposit, is it a deposit or is it for your background check? So in both industries, they're gonna do a background check, most likely. Sometimes with the insurance industry, they may not, but on the mortgage side, they are required to do a background check. So what you can do is reach out to that company and clarify what that inspection is for. Okay, so the deposit they're asking for. Many of them, especially if it's the mortgage field, they have to do a background check. They're going to give you what's called an Aspen Grove number. And once you get that number, Aspen Grove number, you will have to go to Aspen Grove. That's for your background check. And any other company that you're working for to do mortgage inspections, they will use that same number and you will have to renew that. Then the reason why they're doing that for background checks, you're working with people in the mortgage industry, private information. So another thing, if you're going to work in the mortgage industry or these types of industries, it's not just some DoorDash and okey doke stuff. You're working with banks. You're working with insurance companies. So they want to make sure there's no fraud. You can't, go around telling people's private information. So one person has said something about one time, actually came to the website and asked me a question about doing that and doing wholesaling of properties. You cannot do that, okay? Because this is bank information. So you don't want to get yourself in trouble. This is just not some, just like okey doke industry. You are really dealing with banking information and you're dealing with real serious stuff. So financial stuff. So keep that in mind. You don't want to be selling lists. You don't want to do, because while you're doing these types of inspections, there will be maybe real estate investors or people that will see me often, especially when I was in Newark. There's a lot of groups. And if you live there, you understand what I'm saying. It's a lot of folks coming in, investing in the area and want to buy property. You don't want to be out there trying to sell or make deals, okay? Because this is federal banking information. So you want to be careful and don't try to get, like I said, I understand people might be in wholesaling or they think, well, I'm going to do real estate investing. You're not really supposed to be approaching people on that it's a conflict of interest, not on that, okay? So just be careful with that. But if they're asking you for a deposit, call them and find out. It's probably for your background check, okay? Marie said, hello from Florida. Thank you for joining me, Marie. And let's say, if you already have Press the like button. Thank you, Miss Cox. Thank you for joining me. You are always supporting me. I really appreciate you. Diamond Life. Okay, let me say it. I took out 10K 36-month loan with upgrade. I paid it off in 24 months. Is it common for the credit score to drop from 18 to 20 points on an account due to a closure? I just touched on that. And when I was talking about the credit industry, the reason why I say unsecured lines of credit is for that right there. And that's a great example because like I told you guys, credit is golden handcuffs. The system is not made for you. Banks make money primarily on interest, okay? Very little, well, majority, that's how they make money, on interest. So they don't like installment accounts most of the times for the credit system, the credit scoring system, because it closes and they can no longer make money. The system is, and the credit system is not about you. It's about how they can make money off of you. So if you can ever grasp that, that's why they like unsecured lines of credit, like credit cards, because it don't close and they always have the opportunity to make money via interest. So anytime that you close an installment account like that, a car loan, even a mortgage, once that closes, you'll see your score drop. Now it will go back up. So don't worry, maybe in a month or two, but that's why that happens, because they want the opportunity to keep making interest off of you. So this is why I always tell you guys, accounts like Self, those kinds of accounts, even personal loans, are not the best way to help you. You want unsecured lines of credit, okay? And the reason why is because debt doesn't help your situation. You might say, hey, this made my credit score go up. That helped me. But what you understand, if you're applying for credit and you have debt on there, the less you can qualify for, the less you can afford. So if you're going for a home and they see a pledge loan or a private loan, you have a monthly obligation. So you can't pay as much into your mortgage. You qualify for less. So those are why, the main reason why I say unsecured lines of credit is your best way to increase your credit score. So thank you for that. Hopefully everybody understands that. Okay, who we got? Miss Naomi Israel, thank you for joining me. It said, I just paid off my account. The company says it takes 6 months to remove it. Should I dispute it since I paid the account out? Now, I need you to answer me a couple of questions. What type of account was it? Was it an installment account, student loan account? What kind of account was it? And was it a negative in the negative? Was it a charge off? Was it a collection? If not, or was it a regular account in good standing? So give me that so I can answer your question, because it's, I don't know what type of account it was. Was it negative? Was it positive? Okay. So if you can come back in and give me those details. Hi, Connie. You said, hi, Sherry. I'm a new sub, enjoying your credit rebuilding. Do you ever have go live on those that's on credit rebuilding? Rebuilding credit. I have a lot of information on rebuilding credit, and I do webinars. So I have a whole course on how you can rebuild credit. And I'm actually telling you right now, you need to get unsecured lines of credit. It's really not, I know a lot of people, because you get so much information, and it's so many different credit repair companies telling you different things. If you want to rebuild your credit, I'll give you the golden ticket right now. Number one, get unsecured lines of credit cards. And a lot of people say, oh, I can't qualify. Come on, y'all. Y'all can qualify for something. It might even be a predatory card that you don't want, but you can qualify for something. Credit One Bank is giving out credit. First Premier, they're not the best places to go, but you can't say you can't get approved for credit, because there are different ways and different things you can be approved for. I'm about to do a video on another credit option, but you can get lines of credit. I always tell you guys the best avenue to rebuild, instead of going there, store credit cards, because they will work. I do tons of videos on pre-approvals. The reason why you want to pre-approve or pre-qualify is, number one, you can minimize your hard inquiries. When you pre-approve, it's simply going to let you know, do you fit in this company category of someone they want to do business with? So they usually will let you know, tell you, yeah, you're pre-approved. You look like somebody we might work with. Or they'll tell you, no, don't even try. Understand, if you're pre-approved, it does not guarantee that you're going to get that card. So the pre-approval is soft pull. They'll let you know, yay, maybe, or nay, no, we not. So if it's a yes, you can go through the process and process the application. But majority of times, once you process that application, it's a hard pull. Regardless, going through those pre-approvals, it helps you minimize just randomly looking for credit to see if you're going to be approved or not. So you want to make sure you're doing pre-approvals. I have right on my channel, you'll see Credit Builder. So you go there, you have to know, and I tell you guys all the time, you need credit monitoring. A lot of people want to have good credit, but you don't want to have to spend. You're going to have to spend some money to have good credit. Number one, you got to pay your bills. So that's spending money. Number two, you need to monitor your credit. I monitor my credit at all times, because there's a lot of things that come on your credit you can cure very easily if you knew it was on there. But many of us wait until we try to go and apply for something, and then you find out it's something on your credit. Make sure you monitor it. So you should already know what's your credit score for TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. And no, they ain't going to all be the same. A lot of people, well, why is it different? Because they're different scoring algorithms. Okay. They're never the same score. I haven't seen it yet. We all have different scores from there. You just know you got a problem when one score is 60 points less. If it's 60 to 100 points less than the other scores, you got something reporting on that credit report that's not reporting on the two others, and you need to find out. So you want credit monitoring, some kind of credit monitoring system, Experian, My FICO, so you know what your credit score is for each credit bureau. And then when you listen to my video on credit building, I'm going to tell you what score is appropriate and where they pull from. So if you have a TransUnion score of 660, and I tell you with this card, they're looking from 600 and up, you know, okay, I'm pretty much in the realm of what they're looking for. So I can pull the trigger. So you want to first add unsecured lines of credit, and anything that's negative when you're looking at that credit monitoring. If you have collections, you want to send a debt validation letter while you're adding unsecured lines of credit. You want to work on the negatives. And if you have charge-offs, you want to dispute it with the credit bureaus. So it's all simple. But with that negative item, it doesn't matter. You can get your credit score to go up by simply adding unsecured lines of credit. But you want to make sure, if you get a credit card, because a lot of people go crazy with this, you need to wait to that report and then go for another credit card. Because once that line of credit report, you should see an increase in your score on average of 50 points. But keep in mind, it's not going to work if you have an open account. I'm not a charge off, not a collection. I'm just saying, like your car note, your current credit card, if it is reporting negative already, it's an open account and not reporting negative, you're behind on your payments. You want to first get that payment caught up before you start applying. So the science is very simple. At going for unsecured lines of credit, any open accounts, make sure you bring those current, and anything negative that reports, if it's a new collection or a charge off, wait 90 days before you start doing that process. Okay, so if you want, I do have a course, and I have a whole list of cards that you should apply for according to your credit score. So that should help you rebuild your credit. If not, you can just go there and just go to my channel and look at some of the stuff I already have in place, okay, for free. Give me, let me see. But thank you so much for your question. I really appreciate it. Let me go back. Let me see. Okay, hold on. I'm searching for your question. Okay. Naomi, whenever you come back in, I'm going to answer your question if I can get the details. Thank you for joining me from Youngstown too, Connie. Okay. Denise said, hi, Sherry, how many credit cards should you have? That's an excellent question. You need to at least have, at minimum, if you have less than 5 credit cards, you are considered to have a risky credit profile, a thin credit profile. So you want to have at least 6 and above credit cards. I know it's just, but like I told y'all, credit system is not for you. It's for the banks to make money. So they want to see you to have more than 5 revolving lines of credit because they want the opportunity to make money and interest. So this is why where I keep telling you guys education, that's an excellent question because that's what they want to see. They want to see you use credit and they want the opportunity to make money off of you through interest. Another thing you want to aim for is 6 revolving lines of credit at minimum and slightly above at minimum, and you want to start getting larger lines of credit. Mature credit that the credit industry considered to be aged and mature credit, or a mature credit line, is going to be a $5,000 credit line. Primary, in your own name, not as an authorized user, you in your name getting a $5,000 unsecured line of credit. Okay, because they know it takes years of good behavior to get a $5,000 line of credit, because whatever credit line you have starts off generally small or modest, and every 6 months they know credit that company review you for a credit line increase. So they know it takes a long time for you to get to a $5,000 line of credit. So you want to at least have 6, not to consider to have a thin credit profile. Anything under 5, you are looked at as being risky. And you want to try to develop your lines of credit to get one primary line of credit, at least of a $5,000 line of credit. If you're a person that's looking for business credit and they want a PG, a personal guarantee from you, they want to see that you have a $5,000 line of credit, or many companies will not deal with you. So that's an excellent question. Thank you for asking that question, because I'm quite sure someone needed that help. Okay, Naomi, I see you coming in. I just want to make sure I'm not skipping. Okay. Diamond, like I said, thank you for the clarification. Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for joining me. Naomi said a bank account, it was closed account. Thank you for it. And said you look beautiful as well. Now that bank account, Naomi, was it in good standing or was it charged off? Is it something as checks? Let me know, how is it reporting on your credit? Because is it holding down your credit score, or can you not, because it's a bank account, get another bank account? Because if it's a bank account, they have what's called checks systems, and that can stop you if you have a bank account in default from getting another bank account, but it might not be on your credit report. Checks is one of those, like LexisNexis and SageStream, another CRA, which is a credit reporting system, and they're governed by the FCRA, but it might not be on TransUnion and Equifax, the big three, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. So let me know those details. And I know it seems it's like back and forth, but anything with negative information, in order for me to answer the question, I kind of need those details. And Antoine said, what should I do if I don't have credit and I'm a beginner? If you don't have credit and you're a beginner, one thing you need to do, a lot of people talk, or they don't really understand, talk crap about LexisNexis. But LexisNexis and some of those especially LexisNexis, which is like the fourth of the big CRAs. You will want to, if you're a beginner, going to places like ShopRite, grocery stores, CVS, places like that, HEB, grocery stores, and getting cards and putting your information in the system. The reason for LexisNexis and things like that, it's because they want to see that you're real. So a lot of times you guys might be turned down for credit, and people say unfreeze your accounts, because what those CRAs are for, they're for to make sure it's not fraud, that you're actually a real person. So you want to start, number one, getting your name in the system, going to CVS, going to Walgreens or places like that, and getting those Walgreens discount cards. It's not credit, but it gets you into the system, because if you're not in the system, like an 18-year-old, it can be hard to get credit, get approved for some even credit builder credit cards, because they don't know you're a real person. So that's why they use those kind of third party or fourth party type of credit bureaus, to make sure you're real and it's not someone just making up names applying for credit, which would be fraud. So you want to start there. Then if you have a relative or someone that can add you on as an authorized user, you should do that. And the reason why, you'll pick up on their credit history. Then it depends if you are in a certain age group. If you're a college student, you can see if you can get some college credit cards. And one thing, like Discover have one, Discover It, some of those. But one thing you definitely need to do, along with signing up for CVS and those things, so they can know that you're a real person, you can go to opt-out pre-screen and factor trust. You need to sign up there. I have a video on that on my credit channel, so you can circulate your information, and that will bring you credit card offers. And so that is how you need to start. If you don't have any credit, you're new, you're a beginner, those are the steps. Probably one of the most important, if you can find a relative with good credit to add you on as an authorized user. They don't have to give you their credit card. They can hold that credit card when it comes in your name, but you want to piggyback off of them. Now, one thing that's got to be important, they got to be a person that don't have any negative missed payments on that account, because if so, you'll inherit that. So you don't want them to be a big spender, because if they spend over 30%, that can hurt you negatively also on your credit report. So those will be the steps if you need to start to build credit. That's where you need to start. You need to do those things. Okay, let's see. Hopefully that answered your question. Okay, let me, okay, got that. Oh, thank you, Connie, for watching my videos. Thank you so much. Yeah, we all are learning forever in the learning process. And as the system changed, they changed a lot of things, and I try to stay on top of that. Thank you, Steve, for answering Antonio questions that apply for Capital One credit card to start off. And that's a good place to start. They do. And also, if you have connection with Navy Fed, and I'll say Discover, they have a good secured credit card. I don't really advocate for it, but those companies will convert those cards, especially if you keep your credit profile clean, to an unsecured credit card. And Janet said, hi, Sherry, my first time on live, invested in your book on Amazon. Oh, okay. Thank you for the tips and the gratitude. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. Diamond Life said, what is this? Walmart credit card is great. Plus you get 5%. And that's another one. Walmart is good, but Walmart is just like what Steve is saying. They're backed by Capital One. Now, one thing I will say, if you guys got pretty decent credit and you don't have to go with Capital One, don't. If you don't have to. And the reason why I don't like Capital One too much, yes, they will approve people. If you're building credit, it's great. I just hate they pull across the board. You know, like most credit cards only pull, like Chase may only pull from Experian, or some of the others will only pull from, you know, TransUnion only. Capital One pulls all three and create a hard inquiry. And if you got that credit card, you can't dispute it. So it's just a pain in the butt. If you're a person that already have credit cards, or, you know, I would stray away. And Capital One is kind of notorious for not trying to give people credit line increase. So just be aware of that. Okay. That's the only downside. Infinite Hoop say, hey, Sherry. Hi, beautiful woman. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. And thank you. You said thank you for all the videos and tips. I appreciate you joining me, and I appreciate your support. So are we not talking about business credit, right? What's your question, forever yours? Let me know, because what we're doing is a Q&A. So give me your question. Sam say cash. Yeah, you should have cash, but you know, if you learn how to use a combination of showing cash in your bank account and credit, baby, you don't have to spend your cash. So that is the name of the game. That's the name of the game. And Infinite Hoop said, Sherry, I sent the inquiry removal letters to 4 different creditors. 2 wrote back asking for documentation. I followed up. I used the follow-up letters in your package and write back. Question. Yes, that's what you would do. Because one thing about hard inquiries, they have to have something called permissible purpose. So they shouldn't be asking you for documentation. You need documentation from them, because they don't have the right to access your credit report unless they have your permission. And like I said, I have in the past I sued them and I got my money. I just put small claim court lawsuit on them for defamation of character, and I always got paid. I already got some check. Now you can't get crazy. This does not constitute legal advice neither, but because I am not an attorney, but I am quick if they play with my name, because you're lying on me. If you don't know who I am, you don't have proof, a signature or something that I agreed to that. And some of them are trying to get slick. And, oh, is this your email address? I was hacked. Who told y'all to pull my credit? And I hit them with a little small claims court lawsuit, skated with my $300 to $400, because I named me some folks that work there. I named me the president, vice president. I love to hit them up. I hit up everybody. Like Tupac said, hit them up. I hit them up. I named the company, and I put their name in the mix. Because one thing, what you do when you hit people, not just companies, I'm going to get to be able to be your creditor on you. Because if they don't answer, if they don't dismiss that lawsuit or answer that complaint for defamation of character, then that hits their name in the judgment. And it's going to be a public record on them. So many times, if you keep it light, under $500, one thing you got to know about the court system, when you have an LLC or anything like a LLC, situations like that, they have to get an attorney. And it's going to cost them way beyond $500. So what they might as well do is slide me my cash, take that off my credit report in 30 days or less, and give me my check. And that's how I settle that. They usually go on and send me that paperwork via email. However, they'll send it to you, send you your check, sign off, and give me my money. So that's why you want to make sure if they don't have documentation, they had no business of putting that on my credit report, and you're lying on me. So either remove it, or I'm going to go down and hit you with the small claims lawsuit. Right. And I never went to court. Never went to court. They just break me off my money. Sometimes I'll file the suit, make sure they have got the notice in the mail, because I send it right to the business address. And then I call up and say, let me talk to your legal department, because they all have one. Collection companies, all of them have one. Let me talk to your attorneys and let them know, hey, here's how it's going down. We can settle this. Y'all got the little lawsuit. We can drop this if you give me my money and remove that off my credit report in 30 days. But that's how I do it, and that's how I get my money. Okay, I love it when they do it to me. I love when they do that to me. But nobody been crazy, not lately. Cause I can't say. But never mind. I was about to say something I shouldn't say, cause I hit somebody y'all all know. Oh, all of y'all probably had a collection from them, but I signed that documentation and I can't say who they be or who they are. So you got to watch what you say. You got to read that paperwork. But they gave me my money. It's a collection company, and they located in South Carolina, and they go by two companies' names. Probably one is a RE. And what's the other one they have? They got two of them. But I got to be careful what I say, because they get you with that documentation. Just make sure you read that, because they'll tell you once you settle in that documentation, when they cut you that check, you can't tell nobody they cut you that check, because they know what they doing is wrong. Just follow my information. You'll be good. But a lot of that is defamation of character. Because one thing you got to know, if collection companies and how I tell you, hard inquiries, those companies, they be easy to get with that lawsuit. They just fall and give you your money, because they know what I'm saying is true, and they know it's not worth the fight. It's just easier to pay you $200 or $300 and just go on about their business and take that off your credit report. Especially when you naming names, you have to name 2 or 3 names, because you got to make it personal with people. And a lot of people just work there. I just work here. And you got to go to they going to go to their boss and say, I'm being sued. I just work here. Can you please settle this? So you want to make sure customer service people, if you can get their name, get their name. If you can get names by going to LinkedIn, these people be so proud on their LinkedIn report. Oh, I work as customer service for so and so and so. You're about to get sued. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know this so I could put this on this lawsuit. And I try to get a little high level people, lower level people, and put that on that lawsuit. Because imagine you, the customer service rep, and just come in the mail like, hey, girl, you being sued. You going straight there to that office. I don't know what this is about. This person is suing. I ain't even do nothing. These are real people with real bills and real problems. So they going to make sure them folks settle. Okay, so that's how you play the game. Even with collections companies, I'm naming names. Y'all lying on me, because understand, If they're putting stuff on your credit report that is not true, y'all don't know me, y'all send me back the letter. Well, we don't know you. That's my evidence right there. You're lying on me. You don't know. Could you send me your social security? I cannot, because I don't know you and I never did business with you. Point blank, they'll send you a bill from Capital One or so-and-so. That's them. That ain't you. I don't know you. Okay, because y'all have a light bill right now. PSE&G or whatever your light bill company is, don't mean I can show up at your door and say, hey, I got your light bill. You need to pay me. That makes absolutely no sense. I don't know you. You never gave me a product, a service, or anything. So this is extortion. And if you put that on my credit report and I don't know you and you can't prove I owe you anything, because I owe Capital One, don't mean I owe you. You're lying on me. You stopped me from getting a house. You stopped me from getting this credit card, and that's damages. So that's the same thing with the hard inquiries. Next move, hit them with a little small claim court lawsuit. That's what I do. So that's not legal advice, but in all that fall, that's what I'm going to do. I hit y'all with a lawsuit. Now, the only thing you cannot is your original creditor. If y'all got that paperwork, then you kind of owe them people. So your best way to handle that is dispute with the credit bureaus. That's how I handle that. So Denise said, can a store card, can it be a store card for $5? Yes, it can be a store card. So I always suggest, if y'all follow my information, store card, furniture store card accounts, because now a lot of furniture stores have credit card accounts, unsecured lines of credit, and just make sure you clear that with them. You don't have to buy the furniture, but usually what you do, you can apply for different accounts, even online, Wayfair. You even got Overstock. All of them have furniture accounts, or you can go Ashley if your credit like that, depend on, I think they deal with GPS, and I think also Wells Fargo they have. So it all depends. You let them know. I think Affirm also have an account, a furniture account, Affirm, and it's some others out there. You can apply with that and get, if your credit is there, and some of those you can, they'll give you a credit line increase very quickly on a review, and you can get that $5,000 line of credit like that. Another thing, once you get a larger line of credit reporting, like a $5,000 line of credit reporting, you'll start to see, even when you go for regular credit cards, they'll increase your lines of credit when you apply, because someone else, credit card companies, the credit bureaus do not believe you. They only believe other banks, other creditors who have extended you credit. They don't give a rat's patootie about what you're saying. This is why the credit bureaus will not remove, because you just say, hey, you know, this person is lying on me, and you got to almost put in that work and send letters, because number one, they don't want to remove that stuff. They make more money. They sell your information. And the worse your credit is, the more money and the more banks will pay for your information. They make money off of interest. So they have incentives to keep that, because they make more money off of you. Then, even with larger lines of credit, it's a larger opportunity for you to spin that up, and they can make more money off of you through interest. So going through furniture stores, they're more incentivized to give you that larger line of credit, because they have big ticket items. They have furniture, they have couches. So they want you to buy more. So those accounts, they're, even with trouble credit, they're usually more incentivized to give you a larger line of credit, because they want you to buy their product. So hopefully that answers your question. And Diamond's Life said, what do you think about trade lines? For example, my dad added me on his highest, oldest held credit card, which is like $15K. Now, people say, you know, like trade lines. One thing you want to know, that's like an authorized user account. A trade line is any account reporting to your credit report. So a car loan is a trade line. It's just any account where you have a creditor account is a trade line. So what you're saying is authorized user account for a credit card. So that can help an unsecured line of credit, but saying like a business credit card, or where I'm talking about that mature credit of $5,000, no, they're not playing that game no more, because it has that on there that you're an authorized user. It can help increase your credit score, but since they made those details now where it says it will show you an authorized user, no, they won't consider that as that $5,000 mark. They want it to be a primary trade line, a primary credit card account in your name off of your credit. So with business, no, they don't. If you're trying to get a business credit like that as a PG or something, no, they're not going to consider that. So when they're if you're going to apply for another credit card and thinking that, oh, because I got an authorized user account, now they're going to give me that $15,000. No, it don't work like that. It used to back in the day, but that will help increase your credit score. They don't do that anymore. And said, okay, should I pay for credit repair with all these talks about, baby, algorithm killer? Don't believe Joe Biden is canceling the credit bureaus. Honey, he ain't canceled your student loans, these folks' student loans. First of all, let me break that down. Joe Biden canceling the credit bureaus, it's no need for that. There's honestly, if you look at the FCRA, which is the Fair Credit Reporting Act, who oversee them is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. If the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau just did their job, half of the stuff that the credit bureaus do wouldn't be done. Point blank, period. It's a violation anyway. Half of this stuff they're doing, it just wouldn't be done. What Joe Biden is talking about is turning it over to the same CRA for credit reports. And they're not doing their job now. Now they're going to manage credit. Ain't happening. I believe it when I see it. I believe if you think that these big lobbyists, where these credit bureaus are making billions, not millions, billions of dollars, they have lobbyists and they are lobbying and paying for most of those Congress members, most of those senators, and even Joe Biden behind campaigns. So I don't believe it till I see it, because it's already, the CRA been in place since the 70s, and all they have to do is follow the law and enforce the law that's already there. Half of this crap wouldn't even be going on. But now they saying that same oversight committee that ain't doing their job is going to handle everybody credit reports. Yeah, I believe that when I see it. He also said he was going to cancel these student loans, and he ain't doing nothing yet. All right, he giving out money for crack kits and sex kits. And people say, oh, no, that ain't how that worked. That's what's going on. You could have took that $30 million and they could have canceled some of these student loans. But no, they didn't. Nada. And they ain't going to. One thing you got to know, this is all about money. And one thing that's important, whether he canceled that or not, you want to make sure your income is up. Because whether the credit system is there or not, if you can't afford it, and the way housing, the way rent is going up, the prices of houses is going up, if you ain't got enough income, it don't matter if they looking at your credit or not. You ain't gonna get it. And it's just, it's a lot of people that's banking on that. No, you should fully work on your credit. Then as for paying credit repair companies, no, you do education and work on your credit yourself. Ultimately, like I'm telling y'all, can't nobody fix your credit but you. Because credit ain't nothing but an algorithm. It's based off of your behavior. 65% of your credit score is two categories: payment history, how you paid your bills in the past, and that's all dictated on you. Nobody can pay your bills but you. And utilization, how much you're using on your credit cards, how much utilization, debt to available credit. So if you're maxing out your credit cards, that's going to tank you quicker than the Titanic hitting that iceberg. You got to learn how to maintain and manage your own utilization. Nobody can do that for you. You got to pay your own bills on time. Can't nobody do that for you. Most people problem is why they couldn't pay that bill on time. They ain't have enough income. And this is what this channel is about. You need to get your money straight, get your income straight, and credit repair companies are basically based like this. They get paid off of disputing. And the more they dispute, this is why a lot of people don't understand when I'm telling you, you don't have to remove one negative item to increase your credit score. You add on unsecured lines of credit. But they don't tell you that because the longer they can dispute for you, the more they get paid. They're being paid off of monthly service. So your best bet is to work on your own credit. And that's just my thing, to educate yourself, because ultimately nobody can really cure your credit but you, because 35% is payment history, 30% is your utilization, debt to available credit. So if you're a person that don't have a credit card right now, your credit score is suffering because 30%, the second largest amount that make up your credit score, you got a goose egg, 0. So it will hold your score down. The other 15% is age your credit. Trade lines or authorized user accounts can help you with that. And then you have mix of credit. That's more or less a category for people. And even that 15%, that's more or less for people who score over 700. You really need to focus on that. But people below need to watch out for the other 10%, which is inquiries, and those other two, payment history and utilization. You focus on those, your credit score going to be going up. Okay. Hopefully that helped. Okay, forever yours. Trying to get back on track, filing bankruptcy. How can I get that off my credit report? The question is, why are you filing bankruptcy? And do you really need to file bankruptcy? Because I talk to a lot of people that's saying they're going to file bankruptcy. And if it's not like a chapter 13 to hold or keep property, if you can try to either negotiate on paying those accounts off, if it's credit card accounts, for settling for less, or working out a payment plan for not a pay to delete, or to see if you can work out a deal with them. Because filing chapter 7 and filing chapter especially chapter 7 is going to stay on your credit for 10 years. When people say, how can I get bankruptcy off of my credit report? If you're a person that already filed for bankruptcy, then okay, it is what it is, and you can try. And you got to dispute it off. But I have a person that called me recently that got the 2 off, but TransUnion would not remove it. And they went and filed complaints with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They got it off of LexisNexis and went through all of that. And they still went and removed it. So it's no guarantee. So your best avenue is trying not to file bankruptcy at all, only if you are trying to hold on to property. Some people who have real estate, have their home, and they file chapter 13 and as a payment plan to try to hold on to property. But you'll have to dispute that. You first have to remove it off of LexisNexis. That would be your first thing, to get your LexisNexis file, because that's who the big 3 verify that information, because LexisNexis is where they're getting that public record. Because remember, when you're filing for bankruptcy, they're getting that information from the court system. So it's a public record. And this is why I try to tell people about eviction. They say, oh, it's on my credit. No, they're getting it from the court system. It's a public record, especially like in New Jersey. You can look up if somebody have, well, now with some of these moratoriums, they block some of this stuff, but now a lot of the moratoriums are over. Just being fouled, a fouling eviction filed against you can keep you from getting housing because they're getting it from the court system record. It is a public record. And so with bankruptcy, it's the same thing. It's a public record. LexisNexis gathered that information, and the big three is getting it from LexisNexis. So you have to dispute, try to get off your LexisNexis first, and then go in and dispute. Try to remove all your old addresses, especially the address you had when you filed bankruptcy, if all possible. If not, it is what it is. And then try to dispute, number one, the public record part of the bankruptcy. And most of the times when people file bankruptcy, all of the times, actually, not most, because nobody ain't filing bankruptcy without trying to bankrupt some kind of account. You'll have bankruptcy in the public record section, and then you'll have the accounts that was wrapped up in the bankruptcy reporting on your credit report that's been discharged or wrapped in the bankruptcy. That's reporting. Before you can get those off, you got to remove the bankruptcy off first, and each bureau have that bankruptcy reporting. And then once you remove that, then you got to dispute the collection account wrapped up into that bankruptcy. So you have to do that first. So my best thing is, if you ain't got to file it, it's a lot of work to get it off. Don't try to file for bankruptcy if you don't need to. So when I dispute, should I freeze my accounts to dispute the big three? Depends on what kind of account you got. Like I said, if it's a collection, no, I send a debt validation letter and then dispute afterwards. It like I said, it depends on what kind of account. You don't necessarily have to. You can do it. One of the biggest things is trying to get those addresses off of your credit report. And the reason why, any account that you started is linked to an address that's reporting on your credit report. If you can aim for those addresses to remove, it can unlink that account. Because remember, everybody has somebody in this world, especially in the United States, even in your, maybe in your same town, in your same building with the same name. The reason how they know Sherry Beckley in West Virginia isn't Sherry Beckley in New Jersey is because your social security number, addresses, and other personal identifiers like your date of birth and things like that. So you want to remove those old addresses off of your credit profile, because if you was living in Connecticut at the time when you opened that account and that address is on there, and now you're in a new place, the reason they know why it's you, because that address is there. So try to remove the address first and then dispute that account. Okay. Antonio, how do I go about becoming an authorized user? Oh, you have to, whoever the relative or friend have to add you onto their account. They'll have to call their credit card company and add you onto their credit card account. Usually they'll ask you for your social security number and your name and social security number, so they can report the line. Mr. Campbell said, I messed up on my Navy Fed accounts. How do I repair my relationship with them? Pay them. A lot of times they'll restore the account. You just got to call them and pay them. And I will do that, because that's, out of all things, people don't burn Navy Fed. Just call them and they'll reinstate most of the time your account if you pay them for what you owe them. Okay. What do you think about PenFed credit? I hate PenFed. I don't like them like Navy Federal. But I guess you can use them. Some people have. I have PenFed, and I just don't like them. But it could just be me. They don't show the love that Navy Federal show to me. So I just don't really mess with them like that. That's just me personally. But if you don't have Navy Fed as an option, I guess it is what it is. Some people, I just don't like. I don't like PenFed, me myself personally, but you can use them. If I would use them if I don't have Navy Federal as an option, but I don't care for them. I'm actually about to close my account with them, to be honest. So what credit bureaus do you suggest for beginners to apply for? Navy Federal. If you can get in there, that's all you need in life, really. Navy Federal. Matter of fact, I'm about to do a video. Them people done showed me so much love. It's ridiculous. I had PenFed. I guess if you have no other choice and you don't have no ranks to get in with Navy Federal, PenFed is an option. But even any of your local credit unions you are connected to, if you're a tradesperson, work for the post office, you can use those. But I did have a car. I had a car loan with PenFed. I guess they was okay, but I just don't like them for any. It was okay. It was, but I ended up paying that off in 2 months because the interest was kind of jacked up. So I mean, PenFed is an option, but I like Navy Federal. That's basically it. You said, and is it smart to get a credit card when you fixing your credit to get a house? Yeah, because it can increase your credit score. Yes, I did a video on that, on how to increase your credit score when you buying a home. But yes, definitely, because that's not adding debt, and you shouldn't be using it, putting so much debt on it. It's just going to increase your credit score only if your credit score is under a 700 credit score. All right, under a 700 credit score. The authorized user and all of that wouldn't work with a home, because they will, unless it's your spouse, they're going to make you come off of that. So if it's a relative, so that won't, just getting your own unsecured line of credit if your credit score is under a 700, because if it's over a 700, it can reduce your credit score because it add a hard inquiry, but it balances out if you're under a 700 credit score. Okay, Tammy said thank you. I just signed up for a credit rent boost. Thanks for that. You are more than welcome. And a lot of people, thank you for bringing that up with credit rent boost. If you are a person that's going for a home, or you're worried about debt to income ratio, all you have to do is report the past payment history. That's it. That's it. A lot of people keep saying, oh, it's going to mess up my debt to income. Don't report your ongoing credit. I just thought naturally people would, since I said past or present, would just kind of figure that out. I don't know why they don't. Just say, oh, I could just report my past. That's all you got to do. Just report the past. If you're a person that need, like that gentleman, Antonio, that's a good way. Credit rent boost is another one that you can report your rent. If you're trying to build credit, you might actually report, sorry about that, you guys, your ongoing rental payment history, and that will help you build your credit. I'm having a hard time with credit cleaning. Any suggestions? Anthony, you have to tell me what kind of accounts that you're talking in reference to, because different accounts have different modes that you have to attack. So just now, it's almost one thing y'all got to remember, like credit is like a house. That's like you telling me, I need you to fix my house. What's wrong with your house? Is it the plumbing? Is it carpentry? Is it electrical? Do you have an issue with your roof? Is it masonry? You have to be a little more direct, and y'all have to know what's the real issue with your credit. This is why education is very important. Ms. Cox, do you have to use your social security number to? No, you don't have to. You could just get an EIN number, or you can set up a LLC and just use that if you don't want to use your own social security number. But you can't, if somebody is getting disability or anything like that, I'll be careful about getting the EIN number in my own name. You could just set up a LLC and you get an EIN number. You apply for any EIN number, and you wouldn't have to use your social at all. Connie said, how often you go live? I'm going to try to do this once a month, or I'll do this month to answer questions, because a lot of people had questions about the inspection side. And Infinite Hoop said, you're a genius, Sherry. That's why I thought I'll use the following letters and write them back. Yeah, they think they're slick. Thanks again. Blessings to you and your family and your business. That's facts. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. And Miss Hawkins said, do you think that having a Premier Bank card is a good idea? I would sway away from them. Okay, because they constantly have a monthly payment. If you can build your credit, go to my YouTube channel and look at credit builder cards. Try to start off with store cards if you can, because they don't have that Credit One Bank and especially First Premier have those high annual fees. Usually with store cards, majority of store cards, you're not going to have annual fees, and you can get a line of credit and it'll help build your credit, and you don't have to pay the annual fee like Premier Bank. You have to pay a monthly fee, and a lot of people miss that payment and it messes up their credit. So Quentin said, good evening, Sherry, and all on the chat. Greetings from Detroit. Thank you for joining me from D-Town. And Connie said, preach it, girl. Thank you so much. Brandon said, in my Denzel voice, I'm pinning cases on you. And I know the reset. That's right. That is funny. And Miss Cox said, do you have to file a lawsuit in your state where you live? If you're talking about like what I told Infinite Hoops, it would be the state where you live, okay? Because they're doing business in that state. Quentin said, this is priceless information. Thank you so much for the eye-opening information. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you, Denise. I really appreciate it. And Progate said, I did a debt validation letter on portfolio. Recovery agency. I can't stand them. I got a response. I didn't send the second letter. It's been over 30 days. I didn't send the second one. If they didn't respond, send the second letter, because they are a pain in the behind too. You might have to follow my information earlier I said about that with collections, because their butts can be a little stubborn. So I got videos on collections. They are in Virginia, Norfolk, I think, and they could be a trip. You watch what you say to them on the phone. Happy said true. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Smith. And Denise said, my score only went up by 1 point after paying off a credit card. I had a new trade line added to my account with the fee of $75. My utilization is 38%. Why it didn't go up? Because your utilization is 38%. It's too high. You got to make sure you keep your utilization down. And do you have anything else that reported at the same time? So let me know. My only went up 1 point. You said after I paid off a credit card, and I had a new trade line added to my account with the fee. Okay, and you said 30. Yeah, you got to reduce that utilization. Anytime you're over 38%. And did you have anything negative that reported within that 90 days before that reported? Let me know, like a new collection, a new charge off, and is your accounts, open accounts, paid up to date? So give me that information. Okay. Yeah, and Stephen just answered that question. Yeah, you have to get your rate under 30%. Okay. And Infinite Hoops says, fact Sherry, I'm not making no cards unless it's an extreme, unless it's an extreme emergency. And exactly, if y'all learn to just with your credit cards, make sure that don't charge things you don't at least have 3 times as much in the bank in order to pay that off, okay? Make sure that's a good place, all right? Thank you, Mr. Canty. Thank you for joining me. And I'm about to, I think we've been on here for close to an hour. I'm going to answer, if y'all have any more questions, I'm going to wrap this up. I want to make sure, and I'll do this next week also if y'all have any questions, if I didn't catch people. Neo Maximum said, are there any good loan products to consolidate $70,000 worth of personal debt? My credit score is below 620. I have some on my YouTube channel. I know I had one with Discover. Another thing, if you have a Navy Federal, their Platinum credit card is for balance transfers. That would be a good way. Also, tuning into this channel could be you just making more income and putting that to that $70,000 worth of personal debt. Or, like I said, finding a credit card with a balance transfer fee. Yeah, but I will tell you, if you can begin to bring that debt down, is that a credit card? What kind of debt is that too? Because I'm assuming right now. Let me know, what is that, a credit card? What kind of debt is that? Thank you so much, Pam, for joining me. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Connie said, is it easy to get Navy Federal? Do you have to have a high credit score? It depends on what credit card. They even have a secure card. If you go on my channel, I have a video on backdoor ways to get in Navy Federal, and check that out for other options, or other ways that you can get into Navy Federal. So check them out. Mr. Canny said, I call all the credit bureaus to remove extra names and addresses and jobs a month ago. Okay. And they are still there. Yeah, they're going to be there. You're going to have to write them to get that off. They're not just going to remove that off. They're not doing that no more. So you're going to have to dispute that information, really. I'm looking to start a candle business. Is getting business line of credit a good idea? It all depends if you're, are you going to getting a business line of credit depending on your credit score beforehand? If you're going to use your personal credit, or if you're starting an LLC, do you have the demand for your candles there is the question. So to pay that line of credit, and you got to tell me if you got an LLC, are you doing this in your personal name? And do you have a market to market those candles to? Who's your customer base? Or have you identified a customer base, or do you have people waiting for your candles? So some kind of social media following, or how are you going to sell that? So I wouldn't just run and get in debt if you haven't had a customer base yet. I just wouldn't do that to just stock a whole bunch of candles. I think now you could do a print on demand store too with candles. So you wouldn't really need a line of credit. If people come to your website or your print on the demand, they can just buy the candles and the money is there. and you don't have to have that stocked on in your home or online. So it's different ways to do that kind of business. Pam said most credit unions now say you can join us for living near the credit union and attending school and churches. And that is true. You can open that account. So I do have some even on my YouTube channel, but Navy Federal, there's certain requirements in order to join. It's targeted towards the military, but there's other options where you can join. And Happy said, great info. Thank you so much. Does having prior DUI or reckless disqualify you from the inspector job? You know what? I don't know unless they do a background check. But being that you're an independent contractor, I haven't heard anyone that have, but it could be possible. And I appreciate you, Antoine. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you all for joining me. I'm going to log off. I do see Miss Williams have a question. I have been having an issue with removing a collection, monetary, financial. They did send debt validation. They also every month balance and charges. What can I do? Did you send a debt validation letter? If you sent a debt validation letter and they didn't respond, I have another letter in my my package. If they did not, or if they did respond, then from that recourse, if they don't remove that, what you need to do is dispute with the credit bureaus. I would try that, because if they didn't update that account, you need to look at your credit report. If they didn't update that account as being disputed, then you need to dispute with the credit bureaus, letting them know that's a violation of the FCRA if they did not report that. So I will look at that and they need to remove it. If not, then file a lawsuit, small claims court. And I'm not, like I said, an attorney. This does not constitute legal advice, but go to my credit channel and I have videos on that whole explanation. I don't want to go through that whole shamel, but small claim court lawsuit for defamation of character, naming board members and people there, and leverage that, especially if the debt is under $1,500. All right. And I have other videos, like I said, that's breaking that all down, because that's a big rabbit hole to go through. But that's the basic overview. Beautifully molded said, hi Sherry, I have a question. Is there certain letters I have to use for one of my credit reports to have a if they have your wrong social security number, you can just write a regular letter, send a copy of your social security card. And if I was you, I would use my affidavit. And that's to go ahead and get that notarized, because they're playing a lot of games. So they can't deny it's not you. And send a copy of your social security card, and also an ID and a bill where you live, and that notarization. So they can't say, oh, this is not you. All right. Breezy said, thank you and congratulations on the baby. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys. Hopefully I had gotten to everybody's question. You said print on demand, what platform? You just look up Google print on demand. So you can print t-shirts and all those types. There's various platforms that you can use print on demand. Late payments in October of 2021. If you had a late payment in October, you can dispute it with the credit bureaus. But I just did a video on late payments to see if you can do a goodwill letter. And if that doesn't work, you need to try to dispute that with the credit bureaus if it's one late payment. But first, try to reach out to them and see if they can overturn that. Speak to the customer service rep, and then to a supervisor, because they usually have the authority to overturn that. Have you heard of some credit unions or stop sharing branch transactions from different credit unions. It seems like chart some changes. I haven't had that experience, Janet, as of yet, but it could be possible. It's a lot of changes that's going on in the banking system, especially with the Fed raising interest rates. So I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever. But keep me updated if you hear particular banks that you identified that's doing that. Mr. Campbell, how many personal information letters do you need to send in order to get all your old address? They should, if you, just like the example I just gave the young lady with the social security number, if you use that tactic, it shouldn't be more than three. Shouldn't be more than three. Because, yes, sometimes they might get resistant, but just send that information, social security number, a copy of your social security card, address, like bill, and ID. And I just send an affidavit. So, because now they've been responding back. We didn't know it was you, especially TransUnion with that foolishness. We didn't know it was you. Because if you didn't know, credit repair companies don't have the right to dispute for you. Only you have a right to dispute for yourself. So if they feel like it's coming from under the FCRA, they have that right. If they feel like it's coming from a credit repair company, it's not you, they don't have to answer. So that's why I use the affidavits. You can't, when they pull that crap, you can call them up after. How you gonna say it's not me? And I sent you an affidavit. This is somebody, a sworn affidavit that it's me, and an appointee of my state government, who notarized this affidavit is an appointee of the state. So stop lying that this is not me. I had to show them ID. So if they don't do it, then you kind of have evidence to file a Consumer Financial Protection Bureau complaint to show that it's you. Okay. Thank you everyone for the congratulations. Thank you so much for my baby. Thank you. And thank you, Sherry. My score have gone up 49 points since December with your help and your tips. And it's not bad, a bad thing. You're very easy on eyes. Thank you so much. And may you please save this live to watch. I surely would. Thank you so much, Stephen, for joining me. You've been so helpful in the replying to the comments. Thank you, Denise. I love you guys. Thank you for coming in. And Tara, I'm going to answer your question. You'll be the last question because I'm going to, I have somebody watching the baby for me. So it said, hi, Sherry. I sent a letter for T-Mobile, a T-Mobile bill. The name was spelled wrong and they sent the letter back stating they could not locate the account. I have 30 days to respond. Okay. What you want to do is send, I have a second letter in my package that tell them that a bill or is not a response. I don't know if they respond back with a bill or I have a letter that says they didn't respond. I will send the didn't respond letter because if they don't know it's you and they don't have your name spelled wrong and they're reporting this to your credit report, and they can't locate your account, then you're lying on me. So like I said earlier, if they don't remove it, I would initiate, this is not legal advice, I'm not an attorney, but I had in the past, took them to small claims court, initiated and filed a small claims court lawsuit for defamation of character because you're lying on me. I have a letter saying that you don't even know me and you can't locate an account. So how are you saying I owe you money? You don't know me. And I never did business with you. So I never got any goods and service from this company. I never did business with this company and they're defaming my character. They're because understand your credit report is connected directly to your character. The reason why people won't give you credit because of that is because they're saying I have a bad character. That's personally me. So you're lying on me. It's very important. You got a name. President, vice president, some of those board members, y'all can find that on the Better Business Bureau. You can look up that company and see who the board members is. I'll go on LinkedIn, look up that company, and all those that's out there. Hey, I work for so and so and so. You are out to get this lawsuit too. Put it on them. Also, let it be in that same office. Send that lawsuit naming the company and them folk, and put your price on it. 500. Don't get greedy. Don't let it be a lot, because you don't want it worth their time to hire an attorney. So they're better off by settling. Once 2 or 3 weeks, you know they got served, that court date, call them up. Legal department, can I speak to your legal department? Hey, I'm suing y'all. Y'all can settle this by sending me this much change, $300, and removing this within 30 days. And they usually do have a legal department, or they have an attorney. And when he said, well, yada, 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 sir, y'all got to come to my state. That's why you got to file it in your state. That company got to pay for them folks to show up, or they got to pay for an attorney. I know now it's, Zoom, whatever. They got to pay for that attorney to show up. So you're better off by settling this, because y'all are lying on me. Y'all don't know me. Oh, well, T-Mobile had a bill. Prove that I gave them the right to sell that debt. I never did business with y'all. I know T-Mobile, but I don't know you. So because the debt is owed, don't mean that any Joe Schmo got a legal right to collect on that debt. They got to show where they have a right to collect on that debt, and where you got a right to put this on my credit report when I don't know you, and you're lying on me. And I can have proof you're lying on me, because you just sent me a letter saying you don't know me. You can't locate an account for me. Then on top of that, you can't show where I ever did business with you. I never got a service or good. I know T-Mobile, but I don't know you. Well, we bought the debt from T-Mobile. Did you? Okay, can you show me the receipt? Can you also show me the chain of sale? Because best believe they sell those accounts constantly. So show me the chain of sale. And then show me where I signed the contract giving T-Mobile the authority to sell that contract. Y'all needed my consent from the dough. So those, they cannot prove that mess unless they got your signature. And if they got your signature, you want the whole contract where it said that you had a right to sell, and I agreed to that. So hopefully this was informational. Thank you all for joining me, and this live will be up. And I'm going to do this next week. So if your family and friends have any questions, make sure they join me next week at the same time. All right, everyone. Be blessed. Thank you for joining me, and have a safe week. Bye-bye.